is Tatiana Giddings, and thank you for joining us in today's Sports Access. With us today is the head women's soccer coach and director of athletics advancement, Joshua Gibbs. Josh, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
To begin, can you give us an update on how COVID-19 has impacted the women's soccer program and how you guys are dealing with this new normal?
Day to day, I would say, is how we're dealing with COVID. It's impacted, I think, everybody in an odd way, the same but different. You know, different programs have seen the effects of it differently, whether it's impacted directly or indirectly. For us, I'm really blessed to have incredible young women in my program that will tell me how they feel, express their concerns. Sometimes they don't agree, but they don't argue. They talk through things, and I'm pretty lucky to have kids that express themselves intelligently. They don't just talk; they say something. I think none of us pretend to know anything. We are dealing with things as they come. We handle them with the information that we have in front of us. We listen to our incredible administration and athletic training staff, which were, the stories I hear around from soccer buddies and other college coaches just makes me appreciate the people behind the scenes, the administration that make the real tough decisions, and our athletic training staff. They've been incredible. So we're just kind of dealing with it, and it's kind of given us all a newfound respect for what we get to do every day.
Well, that's good. That seems like y'all are doing really good working together, and that's teamwork.
We're trying our best.
Yeah, yes. So what are your duties as the director of athletics advancement?
That's a really good question. I believe the biggest job is to kind of foster the relationship between the coaches and advancement to where they can team up and be sort of a bridge between athletics and advancement, and create a nice working relationship where we can go and raise money and build on the strength of our athletic department. Second to the student athletes, I think it's the quality of coaches that we have in our department that are really motivated and really excited about their programs, and they want to make them better, and they go out and do a lot of work. And I think my job is to connect them to advancement and kind of bridge that gap.
Okay. Well, being a former Ram, can you tell me more about how you got to Texas Wesleyan as a student?
If I can remember that far back. It helped that a lot of guys I went to high school with oddly enough, Martin High School, and it's at Martin Field, and then we all played there. Kind of strange. I knew we had an incredible coach in Kenny Medina. We had some players that I really looked up to that had graduated a year ahead of me in high school. That I just thought that was a place that I wanted to be. I visited, met with some faculty, and Wesleyan has this ability that when you get there, you feel like you're at home. You have a really nice feeling, even back then, and I think it's only gotten better. There's a little part of me that's kind of resentful when I walk around and give a tour to a recruit and go, yeah, that building wasn't there when I was here. We didn't have this cool thing. We didn't have that cool thing. But I try to keep that part quiet. I met with Dr. Rast, Dr. Pam Rast, I remember, and she blew me away with how intelligent and really sold the kinesiology department. And I just walked away with a feeling of that's where I was supposed to be.
Okay, that sounds really good. So how did you know that your career as a soccer player was over?
That's funny because I think soccer players might be some of the worst, where when it's over, you find yourself, at an age where You're at like a 9:30 at night on a Wednesday at some indoor facility playing co-ed, just trying to get any sort of version of playing that you can because you resist that it's over. But for me, um, I found myself more drawn to the coaching that I was doing than the day in, day out playing. And on top of that, I'm not 100% sure I was good enough for it to keep going. So it was pretty clear when it was over, it was over. That I wasn't going to be a pro. I wasn't going to do any of those things. It was it was time to move on, and I consider myself very, very lucky that I knew it that I was present enough to know it when it happened. That yeah, this is sad, and it's a chapter of your life that closes, but um, life is full of those things, and I was lucky enough. I've been incredibly lucky that as soon as I was done playing, I had a job opportunity waiting for me. Within a month or two of graduation, I had very little, what am I going to do with my life moments. I got added as an assistant at Baylor University with their women's soccer program, and it really took off. That was it.
That's amazing. That's really good. How did that feel to already have something for you, waiting for you after?
I don't know, because I don't have the experience. I didn't have the experience now. I didn't know how lucky I was because it just sort of happened. And only having done this, for 18 years now, 15 at Wesleyan and 3 at Baylor, do I appreciate the opportunity that I was given, and what it meant moving forward in my career. At the time, I was like, well, that's just what you do. I didn't know. I was too dumb to know that this was an incredibly lucky situation.
That's good. So, how did the opportunity arise to become a coach of both programs for men and women?
Um, I was in my 3rd season at Baylor, and I saw that the former coach, a guy I know really well, great guy, Steve Jones, had stepped down as the head coach, and I thought, well, I'll take a shot at it. I mean, they won't hire me, but I'll take a shot at it. I was 26 years old, and applied and came in for an interview. And the funny story behind that, I walked out and went to go talk to Dr. Rast on my way out. And, I saw her, and we started to talk, and my phone rang, and it was Kevin Milliken, who was the athletic director at the time. And he asked me to come back upstairs. And I literally thought I had forgotten my wallet or my keys or something. It never crossed my mind that they were going to offer me the job, and walked back in, and they said, you did a great job. We want you to be our next soccer coach. And that was a pretty exciting time. It was a pretty great moment now that I think about it. And at that time I did know. I didn't know the terrifying part of, oh my God, what do I do? I'm in charge. Because when you're an assistant, you make suggestions. When you're a head coach, you make decisions. And now it's like, oh, I'm the head coach. Back down to Waco and have a hard conversation with a guy, George Van Linder, my first boss, the head coach at Baylor, and have a hard conversation with a guy that pretty much started everything for me, and tell him I was moving on, and it was time to go.
That sounds very great. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Mike Rope, here today to encourage you to connect with 811 before you dig.
And I'm Micro, and I'm here because I love to dig in the dirt.
It's true. He's also here because he's very small and not that bright. Here, for instance, we can see Micro doing what he loves to do.
And here we can see the consequences of not doing what he should have done.
Dude, why didn't you call 811?
I forgot the number.
See? Not that bright.
We are back here on Sports Access with our guest, Josh Gibbs. Josh, why did you decide to focus on the women's program alone?
That was a really tough decision, and because I enjoyed coaching the men a ton, and I was really lucky to have some really great players. But to be honest, what it came down to is I don't think I was a very good men's coach. For whatever reason, I don't know, probably my own ego, maybe, I don't know. I just wasn't that great at coaching the men, or at least I didn't feel like that. I feel like the personalities are a little different. The approach to the game is different. The tactics involved are a little different. And I think I just felt a little more comfortable having that background as an assistant in the women's game, that I felt like that might be my job. And it had nothing to do, it was hard to tell those boys that I was moving on because they were great kids, and I thought we were a good team. I just I didn't want to tell them that it's not you, it's me, but it kind of was. I just didn't feel like I was that good at it. I felt like I was better on the women's side.
Well, it takes a lot for us to just know that something is not for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, in your first season as head coach in 2006, you led the Lady Rams to a second consecutive Red River Athletic Conference championship. During your second and third season, you added the RRAC Coach of the Year awards and another conference championship to your collection. 2 seasons later, in 2010, you became the winningest coach in the program's history, a record that now stands at 165. So what is it like to have so many achievements on a personal level?
That's funny because I don't feel like they're mine. I feel like when I look at like wins and losses, which I try not to, because I'm not really sure what that's worth. But I feel like I look at the losses because I feel like those are mine. I didn't prepare the kids the right way. I didn't have the right tactics. I dropped the ball somewhere. But the 165 wins are the kids. Those are the girls do that. The girls win the games. I lose them. I try to provide them an opportunity the best that I can. And when we lose, I feel like I could have done something better. So every single one of those wins, I think, belongs to the kids that have played here. Those are their things. And Coach of the Year, that just means your kids did their job. I don't really I think Coach of the Year is kind of a silly award because they hand it to me, which is kind of ridiculous when the kids win the games. The kids do the job, and they're doing it while going to school and having jobs and maintaining a social life, or doing it while not having a social life because of COVID. So the only reason I'm proud of any accomplishment that would be deemed personal is because I know they're not personal. I know that they belong to the kids more than me.
For 15 seasons, you hold a program best overall record of 165, 80, 12, and .673, which is good for your 23rd among active NAIA coaches. You have coached 63 all-conference players, 8 conference players of the year, and 15 NAIA scholar athletes, and 6 All-Americans. So what is your recruiting process like, because you have so much talent?
Well, we're also in a hotbed of soccer in the United States. North Texas is in the state of Texas. There's so much talent and such good coaches at the youth level that, you know, what we run into a lot is being in the NAIA. A lot of times kids don't know a lot about it, or it's sold as kind of a lesser than. And when you see a kid that's maybe a sophomore in high school, they're all going to go play at Texas A&M. They're all going to go play, and then they become juniors, and it's starting to dwindle down. And our recruiting process is we don't try to sell them anything. We don't want to sell the university. I describe the university, my personal feelings about the university and our program. And if they want it, come on and get it. If you don't, good luck. Maybe we'll see you down the road and we can kick each other or something. If we play each other, I don't know. But I don't want to feel like I'm talking them into it. Mm-hmm. I want to feel like I'm telling them about our university and the passion and excitement I have for our university and our program. And if they don't get excited by that, that's okay, because they wouldn't have lasted long here anyway. And a big part of it is personality, which I don't always get right. There's sometimes I bring kids in and I think of them one way, or I feel like they're a certain type of kid from a personality standpoint or a character standpoint, and they're not. But that's a big part. You don't just have to fit into, good players. There's a lot of good players, but not all of them would fit into what we do. And we're a wacky bunch. We're a group of misfits, and I love it. I love that we're a bunch of weirdos. But if you don't fit into what we do, you're not going to last long. So we have to do our due diligence and make sure we kind of vet each recruit to see exactly how they are and get to know them outside of soccer, because it's a lot more than just being a good player. You have to be a good student. We rank very high as far as academic performance at the university in the athletics department, and that's what we're here to do. Your goal is to graduate from the university. You get to play soccer, and we have to kind of make sure that they check all the boxes, and we do the best we can to make sure they do.
Alrighty. Well, in 2018, you were named SAC. Well, okay, wait, I'm gonna start though. In 2018, you were named SAC Coach of the Year after leading the Lady Rams to the regular season conference championship. The team secured. Oh shoot! I'm sorry, my connection. Okay, I'm starting one more time. Okay. In 2018, you were named SAC Coach of the Year after leading the Lady Rams to the regular season conference championship. The team secured the title by upsetting 7th-ranked John Brown 1-0, marking your 150th career victory. The team ended the season ranked 19th nationally. How do you describe this season?
That's a really good question, because I don't try to describe that season. We made some changes that year to a system of play that I didn't really want to. It was a real defensive-minded system. And I was trying to get our kids to buy in on a system that I wasn't wholeheartedly bought into, but I thought that it was going to give us our best chance. And as we tried it early on, I wasn't really convinced, and I was finding myself questioning myself as a coach quite a bit then, where I couldn't really figure it out. We opened the season with the conference season with our first loss to Wayland Baptist ever in program history. So we're at the bottom of the conference after day one. And it just felt like there was this thought that kept going through my head of maybe we're just not that good. Maybe we're not very good. And I thought, well, that's not, you don't throw your hands up, you get to it, you get to work, you figure this thing out. And if I didn't have the kids that I had on that team, it wouldn't have worked. That group was I don't know if we had the best soccer players in the conference. I really don't. To be honest, if put a gun to my head, we didn't have the best players in the conference that year, but we did have the best team because they just stuck together and they fought like crazy. They believed in what I was saying, even when I was a little bit suspicious about what I was saying. They just believed, and that group is special to me and will be forever. And they pulled it off. When I talk about the players win the games, that whole season was like that, because what I was asking them to do was a little crazy. A soccer term is park the bus. We kind of parked the bus in front of the goal. We played very defensive minded and tried to counterattack like crazy, but they bought in. And, that night I don't have a lot of memories of nights in Arkansas, which you probably shouldn't. And I can say that my family's from Arkansas. There's usually not a lot of special nights in Arkansas, but that night is one of the best nights of my professional life. I'll never forget them celebrating. That was one of the best things, watching them celebrate on the field and just get really excited about everything was just really special to me. And like I said, there's so much that went on in that season that I don't even really know what happened. I just know that we've got a big red trophy that says conference champions in my office. And I'm very, very proud of that group, and will be forever.
All righty. So Josh, how do you compare the difference of generations? Your team in 2006 that became the RRAC champions at the time versus the team in 2018 that became the SAC champions.
Well, there were every year seems to be different, especially every year there are personalities, whether you win a conference or not, that make groups special. Because I have great thoughts about all of the teams that I've coached and all of and I admire all of their personalities. But the thing in 06 and 08 and then the 18 team was they just kind of let a lot of stuff that can catch teams up slide off their back. Mm-hmm. That whether it be, drama or silliness or getting frustrated with each other, there was a lot of acceptance and a lot of tolerance where, somebody would say something they might, that could really upset someone in another team, but this team would go, that's just how Tatiana is. We love her the same. And that group was really, really good about those things. And the Red River titles, it was a little weird because we would have, the bottom half of the conference, you barely just at that time, you'd barely just have to show up and you would win. But the top of the conference, you would have to gut out every second of every game. So that was really weird. Now in the Sooner, you have to show up basically every single game or you could lose. And I prefer that. It's a lot easier because we used to have to just switch our brains on and go, oh, we have to play really hard today, when last week we didn't. Which I thought on those 06 and those 08 teams, that was hard to do. Hard to switch back on. You could cruise a little bit and then you had to really play. But equally now what we deal with is the mental load of every single Tuesday and Saturday. Somebody can beat you that might not even make the conference tournament, but they could beat you. And I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay. Well, it seems like you have a lot of different experiences from both. So we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned.
Can't work for COVID-19 reasons like a stay-at-home order, quarantined, seeking diagnosis for symptoms, caring for your children because their school or care provider is closed, or if you're caring for someone under quarantine. You may be eligible to take up to 2 weeks of paid sick leave and additional leave for childcare needs. Visit dol.gov/FFCRA or call 866-4-US-WAGE. A message from the U.S. Department of Labor.
Here on Sports Access with our guest, Josh Gibbs. So Josh, can you tell me, what does soccer mean to you?
I don't even really like it. I just happen to be stuck here. No, just kidding. I love it. And I know that that's not the most popular opinion in the United States, and people think it's boring or this or that. I used to have fun conversations with my friends, my baseball friends. They'd say, soccer's boring. I'm like, baseball's boring. Every sport is boring if you don't like it, but if you like curling, then it's exciting. But if you don't know anything about it, it's boring. I just love the tactical approach to it. I love that to me, soccer is a lot like life. You can get out of situations where you get outplayed for 90 minutes and win 1-0. I think a lot of us would say that that 2018 team, when we beat John Brown kind of outplayed us for 90 minutes, but we got out of there 1-0 with a trophy. And then there are times where you can be better every single second. The reverse is true, and you don't win. And life's like that. You can do your best and you don't always get something out of it. And it's a bouncing ball on a grass field where there could have been an old footprint from a week ago that has nothing to do with you, and the ball bounces a little funny, and you're just expected to deal with it. We don't have timeouts. We don't have any of that. It just keeps rolling, and the good teams are the ones that can deal with what's in front of them, and that's always what I've liked about it. That it flows, it moves. There's so many different ways to approach it. And I've always had a good time with it. It's a fun game. Unless you think it's boring, then it's terrible.
Yes. Okay. So what is your life like off the soccer field?
My life off the soccer field is crazy and busy, but is awesome. I have 3 kiddos. I have a 4-year-old daughter, a 3-year-old daughter, and an almost 9-month-old baby boy. We just got a new dog. We bought a house in the middle of a pandemic, which I don't recommend. And because we were off and there was a shutdown, my wife kind of fancied me a carpenter, kind of thought I could pull these things off if I would just read the internet and watch YouTube videos. So I did a lot of renovating things, and yeah, I've got an incredible, to be married to a coach, you have to be a little bit crazy, but we knew that when she said she would marry me, regardless of what I did. But she's also married to a soccer coach. There are ups and downs, and she kind of is right there with me. She hates it when we lose. She's the first one to call me when we win. It is a real fun time, and I have been really lucky to get to spend a lot of time at home and with the kiddos, and we involve them in the program, and the girls know my little girls and our son, and I'll bring them around practice, and because I don't really view them as 2 separate things. I view this all as my life, and there's no reason they should be compartmentalized. And we'll try to, before COVID, you'd like to get the team together for dinners and have them involved with what you do with your family, because my family, whether they like it or not, is involved in what the girls do. So I kind of look at it as one big family, and I try to treat it that way. I don't know if I do that great a job of it, but I try to the best that I can, and just living life. But if one thing could change off the field, I'd like to see the return of live music. That would help. That's kind of killing me. I haven't seen a show in forever, and it's really not that great.
No. Your life seems very rich and plentiful.
Yes, I'm lucky. Very lucky.
So it is already 15 years leading women's soccer. How do you describe all of these years being the face of the program?
Am I? I don't want to be the face of the program. I'd like to be in the background and let these kids that are doing the job get out in front. I really don't know how to respond to that, because no one's ever called me the face of the program. I thought we were better looking than that as a program, but I know I've enjoyed every second of this job, even the awful days. My wife works in healthcare, and I think early on when we were dating, she asked how my day was, and I just kind of blindly said, this kid's not really playing that well. It was a horrible practice, and I was kind of upset. And she was like, yeah, we had a patient code. And I went, oh, I'm sorry I said anything. I didn't mean that. So my day was fine. And, she doesn't hold that against me. She knows our worlds are different. But, I never really think of it as the face of the program or any of that. I think of it as I get to work with exceptional young women every day. I get to, hopefully be a voice that pushes them to, challenge people and fight for what you want and speak up for yourself and be special. Go be special. Whatever you think that is, go be special. and I get to work with awesome people every day. People I'm lucky enough to call friends, and work under great leadership. The three bosses I've had since I've been at Wesleyan are great leaders, and they've done a phenomenal job, from Kevin Milliken, Steve Tratcher, and now Ricky Dotson. I feel like lucky and blessed and all those things don't really seem to be adequate ways to describe it. I'm just really, really lucky.
All righty. Well, do you see yourself leading the program for 10 more years? And why? Would you say why or why not?
Well, first of all, I don't know if anyone would hire me to do anything else. I'm not sure I'm qualified to really do anything else. I question whether I'm qualified to do this sometimes, even after 15 years. But I think, I've had conversations with people before. A lot of times my parents, my dad is a good source of advice, and they kind of lean me towards if you wanted to leave, where would you go? And if you can answer that question, then the next question you follow up with is why. And I've never been able to answer the why I would leave. I love Texas Wesleyan. I love the program. I love the people that I work with. I love the kids that I coach. And if I didn't like the kids that I coach, that'd be kind of a funny thing to complain about, because I recruited them. So recruit kids you like then, so I'll never put a number on it, because if COVID's taught us anything, there are no promises on any of that. But I don't envision a situation arising where Texas Wesleyan's not a part of my life.
All right. So what are your personal goals for the future?
I think this is where every coach is supposed to say, every kid has a 4.0, every kid graduates with honors, we win the national championship. They make me king of the university, right? Isn't that what everyone says? I want to win our next game. That's it. I want to win our next game. I want my kids to go to class. I want them to excel academically. I want my kids to prepare every day to be the best soccer player that they can, and to prepare for their future. And getting that point across, that this class you're in is not fun. I get it, but it's going to help you later. Trust me, I'm old and I've seen it, and I've blown off classes and gone, oh yeah, that would help right now. I just want to push these young women to be successful young women, and go do it. Just go do it. Whatever it is you want to do. I don't care about that part. Whatever it is you love, go do it. That's what I want. Those are my goals. I want to win our next game. And I want our kids to give everything that they've got to the university that I know is giving everything to them. And if they need that to be proven to them now, after the way administration has handled this COVID issue, then they're not going to be convinced, because I think it's been put out there for them to go get it. So go get it.
All right. So can you tell us something Wesleyan doesn't know about you that you think they should know?
I stole a couch my second year here, and they never found it. No. Something they don't know. A place like Wesleyan, I feel like even if you didn't tell anybody, they already know it about you. And that's one of the things that it can be a little maddening, but also I love about the place, is that we all know each other. I used to be in a band. Yeah, that's kind of a weird one. Yeah. Just two guys with a guitar playing at bars and coffee shops, and whoever else would suffer through us playing.
What kind of music did you do?
Anything I liked, pretty much. My friend, who's also an alum, Thomas Hansen, he's the musician, and I'm the guy he tolerates till the set's over. For a while there, I like to play slow acoustic versions of my favorite hip hop songs. I thought that was funny. That always got a good reaction out of people. When you've got, you know, a guy up there looking like me with an acoustic guitar singing a song about, you know, like a T.I. song or something, that's funny. I just thought it was funny and people seem to like it. But I would say, you know, that kind of acoustic singer-songwriter sort of thing.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for joining us today. That is all. It was nice to meet you and learn about your exciting story at Texas Wesleyan.
Thank you for having me, Tatiana. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's Sports Access. Do not forget to follow us on Facebook at The Rambler and Twitter and Instagram at The Rambler TWU. I am Tatiana Giddings, and this is Rambler TV.
Rambler TV.